And there are two bookends, I think, that are paramount, and they involve initiative and also edification. And so the first thing that a Christian leader might have in his mind or her mind is that she is to initiate the difficult conversation. The key, what you'd see in practice there, I think, is she will strike while the iron is cold. She will not strike while the iron is hot. She will not wait till the next meeting where it all blows up. She knows that there's a difficult conversation and there's some tension, so she will strike while the iron is cold. And the initiative, of course, there mimics the initiative that we see in the Bible, which God had a plan for our salvation and our reconciliation. And he undertook the responsibility to bring about the reconciliation himself. So he undertakes the initiative. He doesn't wait for us to reconcile with him. He has a plan and he brings it upon himself to start this process. So when we see the Christian leader initiate a difficult conversation with, say, a staff member at school, she is mimicking one of the great processes of reconciliation that we see. When she does that, she might want to spell out a process that will take her from that initial bookend through to the other bookend. And that involves a four-step process, a cure, a C-U-R-E, cure. It's an acronym that was put together by Dr. John Warlow, a psychiatrist at Christian Wholeness in Brisbane. It's a four-step process: connection, understanding, responding, and engaging. And so when the Christian leader at school then initiates a conversation and starts a difficult conversation, she might say, listen, why don't we catch up before that meeting? But then also outline the purpose of meeting together, which would be, let's meet up at 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at recess or whatever, or at lunchtime. And the purpose of that is for us to connect. The purpose for that is just for you and I to make sure, there's rapport, and in the back of their mind, maybe understanding as well. But the first step is just certainly rapport and safety. There are some really big, important factors that are required for there to be safety, and that involves connectedness, that involves confidentiality, that involves the absence of control. So 3 C's. But there's also another aspect which involves size, I think, because there's nothing more unsafe than asking someone to have a conversation with you and that person walks into the room with you as the leader and 3 other leaders sitting behind the desk on this other side of the desk. It's startling, it's very unsafe. So it's got to be safe, and that means the numbers have to be down. People disclose less. When numbers are up, safety is down, and when numbers are down, then safety comes back up. So the Christian leader, I think, will, one, take the initiative, but then first and foremost pursue safety and connectedness. So in that meeting, of course, they would want to pursue some sort of rapport. The numbers would be low, so it would just be that person, the leader, pursuing rapport and safety and confidentiality. And when that occurs, pursuing understanding, I think. So I might want to say, listen, I'm so glad you're here, and I'm glad we're getting on. This is really important for me to know as a leader that you feel respected and that you're loved in this institution. We value your contribution. So you can see all there the connectedness. Usually when there's good connection and good understanding, the response will almost be effortless. And this is kind of how you know when you have done connection and understanding, is the response is quite effortless. And the response will actually come from the person that you're having the discussion with, not from you. So often when there's a response that's really quite forthright and defined from a leader, it's because it feels awkward because there isn't enough connection and there isn't enough understanding of the other person. But when there's good understanding and there's good connection, then typically a leader might say something to the person. So what do you think needs to happen? And they will respond in a way that's really constructive for everyone. So you really got to tick these boxes off: connection, understanding, and then only after you've connected do you respond and engage a way forward. And engaging a way forward means sort of putting something in practice, on trial, as it were. So you might say, well, it looks as though this is going to be helpful to you and helpful to our department. Let's include these other people. Would that be okay? Does that seem right? Let's review how we've gone a couple of months further down the track or the end of the term. How does that sound to you? And then you engage in a way forward. So it's typically a cure process, and the cure is the task in between the bookends. So the bookend starts with, I will take initiative. That's what God did in Jesus. He took the initiative. He didn't wait for us. And the other end of the bookend is mimicking the most beautiful of processes, I think, which is why did God have the initiative for reconciliation? Well, for the purpose of edification, and this is why the message sticks to so many of us, sticks to me. It's not that I keep grabbing hold of the message or the gospel, it's that the gospel grabs hold of me, is that God undertook the initiative. For what purpose? To edify me, which is so completely flattering. There are times when I don't know why he's done that, but he has. And it's a beautiful narrative, and one that sticks to me, and it's that which we try to do towards the end and the response, which is, how do I edify this person that I'm going to have a difficult conversation with? At the end of this process, particularly in the engage part, so the connect, understand, response, engage, how do I ensure that this person goes up when I go down? Even if I go down, rather. How does this person feel elevated and edified? So yeah, I think that's the process.